Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Gator Gang podcast. I am your host, Bobby, and I am joined by a special guest tonight. I would like to welcome y'all into introducing y'all to the new coach of the University of Florida, Coach Daryl. How are you tonight, Daryl?
I'm doing very good, and I really appreciate you bringing me on to your podcast tonight and being able to talk to all the fans that are watching.
I'm glad to be able to be the first one to get this interview. It's a pleasure for you to take your time out of your busy schedule to come on and talk to me. We're going to get right into it. What are your expectations going into the off season after seeing the way that the University of Florida has everything that has transpired?
Yeah. So first, expectation is we need to see what we have as far as our players and evaluate what we have, and then we're going to go find these elite recruits here in the state of Florida and get this staff going. Got some wonderful staff coming in, and we're going to find these recruits right away, and then we'll get into some spring ball and get ready for next year's football season, and we're gonna surprise the college football world next year.
So, with no experience in head coaching, tell the fans a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from? Your background.
Yeah. So, look, I'm in a small town right here in Bonifay, Florida, just north of the Panama City. No head coaching experience whatsoever. Just a very very passionate fan. Did play lots of NCAA. So anyway, look, we're gonna make things work out down there in Gainesville, and everybody's gonna be excited.
Everybody, thank y'all for watching. We really could not keep that together, but that was great. We've had a lot of fun doing this. With Daryl and the Gators. Search for a new head coach, and this has been great for all of y'all who have bought into it and had fun with it. We thank y'all, Daryl. Yeah, great video. It had me laughing, and it was great, man.
Thank y'all. Look, passionate. Look, I'm a huge Gator fan, and I'm passionate. The ones who know me on the show, you guys know me personally, man. I'm just making fun of a situation, and I love the university, and the coaches are gonna the university gonna go find them a coach, a really good coach, and we're gonna support them. So,
with the firing of Dan Mullen, it's something that I never seen, going into the season of questioning bowl eligibility, but with the way things have happened this year, I think it was, unfortunately the right move to make. So, since we are on the topic of head coaching, a lot of the feed is on, Louisiana coach Bill Napier. Lucas, what are you hearing on the news about Bill Napier?
As of now, as of yesterday, Swamp 24/7 was reporting that Napier is the number one guy, and it's close to being done, but not quite being done.
Okay. So we're hearing that we're just kind of waiting till the end of the season officially before
And
more information comes out.
another thing to keep in mind here, guys, is Louisiana has to play in a championship game, so I don't know if that's going to affect when it gets announced.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. They have their game this weekend against Louisiana Monroe, and then they had their championship game against Appalachian State.
so
But I did hear that but I did hear that Strickland did offer him did meet with him, but I don't know. I don't. There's nothing to confirm. So guys, relax. Relax. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll worry about who the coach is when it is announced. Enjoy your Thanksgiving,
I will
and
say
don't be stressed about with the coaches. I can I have faith in Scott Strickland. He'll find the right guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott's going to find the university's going to find a guy. I will say that this has no take in whether this man is hired or not, but he is a very popular vote in the polls. He's got almost 200 votes. Everybody has seen them polls, but joking aside, but honestly, he actually is a very popular vote amongst the fans.
And and even some of the
Yeah,
insiders who
yeah,
was
and I actually snuck on to the Raging Cajuns fan page, and I've been watching. I mean, these guys are really worried about him leaving. They're excited for him. They're sad if he does leave, but they're very happy at the same time that he would get this opportunity to go to Florida. So they really love him down there or over there in Louisiana. So this he
well,
seems to be a
another
really
thing to
good
keep in
coach.
mind here. I don't know why he would not. I don't know why he wouldn't go to LSU. I mean, he's right down the road. He wouldn't have to move far, and he's already a good recruiter. And if I was LSU, I would have. If I was LSU, I would hire him. But I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that LSU is gonna hire him. I'm just saying that if I was LSU, I wouldn't let Florida take him. If I was LSU, I would not let Florida take him.
Yeah, I think it's some competition right there. With Florida and LSU, with literally LSU being in his backyard. I mean, he wouldn't have to make much of a transition when it comes to moving, when it comes to recruiting. He would just be in a bigger and better place to do it all. So I mean, that'd be some competition, and he is the favorite to get it. Um, and he's of the candidates out there, he is one that I would want. So definitely, I'm hoping that we can get a deal done with him.
I keep
But
telling you. I keep telling you. I know, guys. I know that this comparison isn't gonna. But look at Billy Donovan. He came here from Marshall and as a young guy, and that worked out. So
exactly. So it can be done. I mean, he's a young guy. And, what watching some of the film that I've watched on on his team looks to be very disciplined. They play hard. You only lost one game this year, and that was to Texas. So it just comes down to the depth and getting them there. But I think if you were to put Bill Napier in a
wait,
situation at the University of Florida, given the opportunity, he could very well be a great coach.
if he can, if he can reel in top classes at freaking Louisiana, can you imagine what he can do at Florida?
Exactly, exactly. So I think we can. I think we can do that. With him. But this weekend we got a big game this weekend, and that's our next topic. Both games come into Florida, into Gainesville in the Swamp. With a 6-5 record, bowl eligibility on the line for both teams. Pressure's on for both teams. Florida had to making a coaching change and all the things
I don't know what's
that have
happening
gone
right now.
on. This game is at high noon. Got to get up early for it, and we're not playing FSU in 2020, so they did not get their ass whooping in 2020. So we definitely need to deliver it in 2021, and make them remember who the
Can you
Gators
imagine?
are, since they did not get to see us last year.
Can you imagine? Real quick, can you imagine the asshole we would have gave them in 2020?
Yes, they wouldn't have wanted no part of Kyle Trask, and they are thankful that they did not see him. But I don't care, who the coach is. I don't care who you put on that field. When these players step on this field, it's personal. This is a heated rivalry. Always been that way, and Gators gotta come out on top. Daryl, what are your expectations for this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tricky because I want to see them, you know, come out in a motivated fashion to want to win this game. Obviously, with um, it's a rivalry game, so they're all going to be motivated. There's a bowl game, that's on the line, so of course they're going to be, ready to play. But I just want to see whether or not the team is actually really ready to come play this game. And we'll know that pretty early on. On the defensive side, I do believe AR is going to be starting. Whether he's ready to play at a high level, so we'll see. I'm expecting that they need to put forth a tremendous effort. Florida State's coming. They're going to come play the game. So,
and by the way, Anthony Richardson is expected to start.
Yeah, that's another thing. Emory Jones had hurt his foot earlier in the week. From reports of
it was an ankle. It was an ankle.
Yeah, hurt his ankle. So he was out, and then AR-15 will be a starter. This will be his second start versus this season. So it'd be good to get him on the field, and I would so. It'll be good to see that. But you guys welcome Animal to the Gator Gang Network. Animal, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing just great, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And Coach Steele, just so you know, next time you see I like to have a personal autograph of you. So as you are the new coach of the Florida Gators.
I will give each and every one of you one of my autographs. So
there you go. Free charge.
I'm his lead recruiter, so I'm on the staff already.
So we're gonna have to get that helmet right there signed, and that helmet's gonna be worth a lot of money one day.
Yeah. There you go. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to you all, and pleasure to be on the show tonight. Before we get into the FSU game, do you mind if I weigh in a little bit on this whole coaching matter? If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we were just talking about that. What is your take on it?
Okay, here's my take on the whole situation. I don't think that Billy Napier is going to be the head coach. I think that what we're seeing is a smokescreen for the guy that the Scott Strickland really wants. And let me tell you why. We saw this before with Chip Kelly. That whole deal did not pan out. Now we got the whole thing with Billy Napier happen. Okay. And I think Scott Strickland's a lot smarter than everybody's giving him credit for. Yeah, Napier has a reputation for being a good recruiter. Yeah, Napier has been at Alabama and all that. We know of that. But here's the thing about it, guys. He's never been the head coach of a Power 5 school. And plus the fact, his roots are in Louisiana. Now, I think what's going to happen here is that after Louisville has their game Saturday night, do not be surprised if LSU comes to call her. And if LSU makes an offer to Napier, I think they take it. I think what Strickland, hang on, Lucas, please let me finish. I think what they are wanting to do, I think that they're trying to go after a guy like maybe Gene Chizik, or maybe Dan Quinn. I don't know, but I do not believe it's going to be Billy Napier. But then again, I could be wrong.
From all the sources that we're seeing, it looks like Bill Napier, may be the guy. I do understand and see the competition with LSU. With being in his, in his own backyard, it does make a lot of sense.
It does. It does, and the one thing that I'll say about it is, Florida met with Bob. I'm told that Florida met with Bob Stoops on Wednesday. Then Stoops put out a statement saying, "I'm happy, Fox. I don't plan on moving anywhere." Guess what, guys? We've heard this once before. Okay, so I don't believe the Bob Stoops thing is dead. But then again, I could be wrong. They could be going after Billy Napier. I don't think it's the right move. But then again, we have Dale Hornets being the head coach of the Florida Gators, so let's see how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Might get a phone call.
I realize that, but I am not comfortable with somebody that's never been a Power 5 head coach. If you're wanting to be a head coach in a Power 5 school, I'm sorry. The University of Florida is not a place to start, and not a place to start, especially when you've seen the downfall the University of Florida has become. I mean, that's my take.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but every list that I have seen lists Billy as the number one guy. So,
but go back again, Lucas. Go back again. Well, if you notice back 4 years ago when we were looking at another head coach, guess who was the number one candidate back then? Chip Kelly. Look how that whole situation turned out. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't think that Billy Napier is the guy that they want. I think this is all a smokescreen. But hey, I could be wrong. I'm just putting my 2 cents.
I definitely see your take on that because the head coaching job at the University of Florida it's a lot to handle. A lot comes with that. So
Yes.
your take of getting a coach that's never coached in a Power Five and never felt this much pressure, it definitely could weigh on the impact that of what he can do. Because a University of Florida is a place you got to come to, and you pretty much got to have instant success.
Here's the one thing. The one thing people all brought up and also getting over is the fact that he's a recruiter. I get all that, but just because he's a great recruiter doesn't mean that you're going to be a great head coach. This just in. You have to be a great. Hang on. You have to be a great recruiter and a great football coach. I just don't think the University of Florida is a place to start for that. I'm not so sure that LSU is even a place to start for that. But like I said, I could be wrong. Lucas could be right, which he probably is. But I don't know. I just think that something tells me that this is all a smokescreen for something that's going to be better to come. Now, one more thing, and I've heard this report today. That Scott Strickland was in Chicago meeting with Matt Nagy, who's head coach of the Bears. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's something that Scott Strickland is really going after. But reports are coming out. So
I can shut that down because Matt Nagy played coaching a football game today, so that's bold.
But that doesn't mean that Scott Strickland wasn't there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, we're seeing so many reports right now of everybody saying this and that and the other. I think that after this Saturday night, after all these games are played, come Sunday, we're going to have a better handling on what's going on. But do not expect your coach to be signed before the middle of the week or even after that.
Well, I think we could all agree on this. That Scott Strickland has a big decision ahead of him. Who he's going to pick for head coach at the University of Florida. And I'm not sure I would want that kind of pressure on my back because I believe that this coaching decision for Scott Strickland is a make or break for him because if he don't get it right and it's a bad decision, I think his job could possibly be on the line as well.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree on that. I think Scott Strickland's job is already on the line because of all the situations happening with President Fuchs and all that. But that's another story that we'll talk about another time. But you want to get to the Florida State matchup this weekend.
Yes, we got to be a big matchup. Both teams coming to this game 6-5, looking for to be bowl eligible. Animal, since you're the guest on the show, I'm gonna start with you. What are you expecting to see from the Gators?
I'm expecting to see a lot of upbeat tempo from the guys, from them being fired up. I'm looking for an up-tempo defense like they played against Missouri. Guys, let me tell you something. I was there in Missouri. I can tell you firsthand, this team played with a lot of what Dan Mullen called relentless effort. They were hitting. They were being very physical during the course of the game. They kept Beatty in check for most of the game. And as far as offensively, I think this is a game where you see the coming out party of Anthony Richardson. I think this is a game where you're going to see Anthony Richardson throwing the ball in the air 15, 20, maybe 25 times a game. But Coach Dill, are you planning on having Anthony Richardson throwing the ball in the air on Saturday?
We are evaluating his playing ability. I think I am going to start him.
Of course, he's going to start because Anthony Richardson. Everybody thought he had a knee injury. Turns out to be an ankle injury. So, and by the way, he was back at practice on Wednesday, Bobby. So that's a good sign. Lucas, I want to ask you a question. And Bobby, I want to ask Lucas a question, if you don't mind. I don't
Yeah,
want no. I don't want no personal what you're hearing, things like that. Just an observation. Is this a good or bad thing for recruits? I mean, we know that we got McClellan that came through during the week, but do you think, from an overall perspective, this is good for recruits, not just for 22, but for beyond?
I think it's well. It depends on who the guy. It depends on who the coach is. But like I said, whoever the coach is needs to be in place by December or before.
I agree, and I agree. I agree with you on that. And I think for Florida State, I need back to the game for a moment. I think they need to come out. They need to set the tempo, a high tempo kind of defense, a high tempo kind of offense. We're not afraid to throw the ball down the field, not afraid to run the ball down the field, down the throat of Florida State. Let's just think, guys. Florida State's a mediocre team. And if Florida's gonna become the team that we hope they want them, that we want them to be, I think they got to start showing it on Saturday. And instead of playing down to FSU's level, they need to establish their own level. And I think for the
And
team,
I
that's
can't
been a topic of conversation all year long.
I can't stress how big a win this would be. One, it gets you the bowl it gets you the 15 bowl practices. Two, it's Florida State, so we always want to beat Florida State. And three, it will give us good momentum forever for whoever the coach is.
Any wins are a great win, but when you get a win against a rival, like FSU, that just sends you into the off season, with a good note, the regular off season, out on a good note, and it gives us a chance to be bowl eligible and to see who will play for a bowl. But Daryl, what are you expecting? I mean, this is Anthony Richardson's second start. What are you expecting to see from him
I
with
will
all the
say,
coaching changes and everything?
yeah, I do think that AR is going to have a better performance than he did in the Georgia game, and I will say, he made a couple mistakes there, but he was playing one of the better defenses.
Well,
We've seen AR play very well against LSU
Hmm.
in the second half of the football game, and if he can play like that and bring that to the Florida State game, he can run that RPO to almost perfection. And he's a little bit more physical, and he can, get the ball down. And not knocking EJ. EJ's, I think, is very talented as well, but AR just gives that extra, uh, you know, I don't know, that physical ability to be able to just get down the field with his legs and also get the ball down the field because he makes it more of a threat to me. So
Right.
I think he'll have a pretty good game Saturday, actually.
I
And the one
think
thing that go ahead. I'm sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a great game. Because when I look at AR-15 and starting against Georgia, you're having him start his very first start against the number one defense in the nation. In Jacksonville, neutral site. I'm sure the nerves were there. Being his
and
first start against that
and
team.
if you
So
look,
I'm
I
looking
don't.
for a better outing. To playing FSU.
And if you
And
look,
one of the things that gets lost in all this conversation is while we're talking about the game and Anthony Richardson, when he steps on the field, it's like there's a different vibe. There's like because when he throws that ball down the field, you sense these guys getting all excited on the field. But there's another aspect to all this that everybody's got to remember too, is that the coaches that are going to be coaching these players on Saturday. Remember, there's going to be a new head coach coming in, so whoever it's going to be, they want to look at these
yeah,
coaches and how well they coach different aspects of the team from a defensive standpoint, from a special team standpoint, from an offensive line standpoint, from a running back, etc. You get the idea. I mean, these coaches' jobs are on the line as well. We are going to see
yeah,
changes, but it depends on how they play against Florida State. That I think, would determine a lot of what changes need to be made.
Yeah, I
another
would
thing.
be.
Another thing to keep in mind here is whoever the coach is wants to bring in their own guys and their own coaches. So this might be the last game.
Yeah, so I'm going to be really evaluating these coaches. I mean, this is very important if I want to keep them on my staff for next year. So they better go and coach the game to their ability. This is very critical. And the players, this is a good opportunity for them to get something on film. So, we can see where we can use them next year.
One of the coaches that I would really like to see retained as a strength and conditioning coach, Nick Savage. I think he's done a tremendous job.
A lot of players on Twitter during the course of the week have been lobbying for Nick Savage to come on board. Now, what I find interesting about this whole thing, and Dale, I want you to comment on this as well, is that we have been seeing where McClellan came in and announced that he was going to be a Gator for next year. But to this point in time, we have not seen anybody say that they're going to enter their name into the transfer portal. I think it's a good thing for now, but as we get ready to go into the last game and beyond, I'm looking at 4 or 5 players doing that. But then again, I gotta believe, Dale, that it all depends on this new coach and whoever they bring in.
Yeah, I mean that is critical. That is critical because if some coaches fit different players' styles better than others, and what kind of offense they're going to bring. So I do believe that there's going to be a few that probably go to the transfer portal. There may even be some that may follow Dan. I mean, Dan may not be out of college coaching. There's quite a few openings. Virginia Tech, there's a few openings. Cincinnati might even be open so they may follow him.
Exactly.
Luke Fickle announced that he was staying in Cincinnati.
Okay, well, he's staying. But I'm thinking with all the big openings, there's going to be some openings somewhere else. So, and Dan's not a bad coach. He's going to land on his feet somewhere. So if that happens, I do think that maybe a few of the players that are committed to the coach,
right,
may transfer.
I've seen reports of Dan Mullen, possibly going to Virginia Tech. I mean, I think that would be a good fit for him.
I think that would be excellent for him. Better than going to the Jacksonville Jaguars or be under Urban Meyer. I think that'd be an excellent move. Now, one other thing to keep our eyes on: Mississippi State is leading Ole Miss 6-3 in the second quarter. Now, why I bring Ole Miss up is this: I've heard a lot of stories and a lot of reports flying around that Lane Kiffin is ready to leave Ole Miss and would walk over glass barefoot to get the University of Florida job. Now, I've been told that once this game ends, that announcement could be made this weekend that Lane Kiffin's the guy. I'm not sure about that. I'm not really believing that Lane Kiffin would want to leave a school like Ole Miss for the University of Florida. But Lucas, would you feel comfortable with a guy like Lane Kiffin, considering the baggage that he brings to the school?
I'll tell you why. The guy, yes, he's a good offensive mind, but he would be like a Jim McElwain 2.0 as far as his antics.
Well, and that's what we're talking about, his baggage, the antics. He's kind of like a prima donna. I mean, that's how I look at it. But Bobby, I don't know. I like Lane Kiffin. I just don't like the baggage that he brings.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say, you know what? Go ahead, Daryl.
I will tell you right now that he's not very popular because I am beating Lane Kiffin in the coaches poll. So that's not a good sign, guys.
What did I tell you?
Not a good sign.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know who Andrew Spivery is.
Yes, I do.
He said that Lane Kiffin is no longer being considered by Florida.
I say this: he's had his issues, but you learn, you grow, you mature throughout the course of time and life, and the mistakes that you've made. If you get the chance to make up for them, take that opportunity and run with it. And I think he's done great with having the number 9 team in the country. At Ole Miss, and I would say that I would gladly take Lane Kiffin as a coach at the University of Florida. He's very great offensively minded. So I mean, I'm not.
And he would Chris too. He would Chris too.
Well, but I I see where everybody's coming from with the baggage and all of that, but I just feel that you can make up from that, and I think he's done this with his chance at Ole Miss. I mean, you haven't heard anything negative, since he's been at Ole Miss.
No, you
I mean,
haven't. I think that's not. I think that's nothing but a positive thing. I think that's nothing but positive for Lane Kiffin. But Daryl,
Look,
your
10,
thoughts?
10 years ago, I would have not hired Lane Kiffin.
No,
right, exactly.
Today, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be mad about it, but because he has done a lot of growing up under his time with Nick Saban and South what the South Florida team that he coached and now Ole Miss. So, um, would I be mad? No. He's not a very popular pick. I'm gonna tell you right now. So
so I'm just throwing that out there, something to think about.
yeah.
By the way, guys, how about that basketball? How about our basketball team last night that at the buzzer against Ohio State? What about that? Was that awesome?
Yes, so those of y'all who did not catch the Gator basketball game last night, Gators played Ohio State, and as time was winding down, Florida gets an alley oop to tie the game at 68. Ohio State goes down to court, pass it on the inside, they miss a shot. Florida gets the rebound, move the ball up court to Appleby, and Appleby drains a three as time
Three at the
expires
yeah.
to win the game, and it was a great game. I
And
love the
I
way the Florida Gator
freaking love
team
it.
plays
if you,
defense.
hey Bobby, if you get a chance, check the Mick Hubert call of the game on Twitter. It's just fabulous.
I,
It was just awesome.
I was actually thinking about how he was reacting because I haven't heard that
He
yet,
was,
but
he
I'm
was
definitely gonna look at it.
check it out. In fact, I posted that on my Facebook page. So check my Facebook page out. That he made such a great call. But this is football, guys. FSU in Florida. I am pumped about this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get into our score predictions, and Lucas, I'm gonna start with you. What is your score prediction for Florida
I don't
State
know.
in this one?
This one is tough. It's the last game. It's the last game of the year. We could come out flat as a freaking pancake, or we could come out expired. So, but I'm gonna say the team comes out expired and wins 24-17.
24-17. All right, Animal, hit me. What you got?
I think it's going to be 34-10 the Florida Gators. I think the Gators are going to come out, light it up, and play defense like you wouldn't believe. Florida State, got to keep in mind, Florida State is not that good of a it's not that good of a football team. Okay, and like I've always said, like I said earlier tonight, we've been playing to the mediocre of our opponents instead of playing to the level that we are capable of playing. Florida State could set that tone and get us a postseason. And I think Anthony AR-15 comes out, throws for 3 touchdowns, maybe 1 interception, and wins the game for us. 34-10.
You got the Gators winning big.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Gators big time.
Coach Darrell, how do you see your Gators playing?
Well, I think they're going to do the 38-17. I do think the defense shows up. I think AR is going to have a really good game against Florida State's defense. I'm pretty sure that, it really just depends on which quarterback shows up for FSU, but they're going to make mistakes, and the defense is going to cause some turnovers.
Hey, Daryl, I want to ask you a question here. And once this is over with and a new coach comes into play, what coaches would you keep on the staff? I mean, obviously Nick Savage is gonna. Hang on, look, I like to get Daryl's assessment first.
Yeah, Nick Savage would be my main guy. I don't know. I don't know all the the assistants necessarily by name. But I
See,
would.
Rob,
Yeah. I mean, C. Rob probably. I
No,
would definitely.
No, I
I don't
would.
know. I don't know. I really don't know. I think. I think in how bad things have gone. I just think that the new coach is probably going to have to bring in his whole new staff, with maybe the exception of the strength and conditioning coach, because he does do a really good job for Florida. But I don't know. I don't really think the new coach is going to keep very
My-
I
many.
mean, he may not even want to stay. I mean, Nick Savage may
Yeah,
want to leave.
he may not
So,
either. It depends.
Yeah, exactly.
My
Yeah.
two main guys are Nick Savage and Tim Brewster, but the rest of you all can get the hell out of here.
so yeah, Tim Brewster, he's definitely been a good recruiter as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
there would be definitely be two that I would keep if it was up to me. But then again, I'm not on the inside and don't know. But nobody's guaranteed a job and safe at the job when coaching changes are being made. And the good thing is they can go off and usually get a job somewhere else pretty easy.
By the way, let me inform you guys on something here. We all know that Mel Tucker signed a big $95 million 10-year contract to stay at Michigan State. Dave Aranda, whose name was mentioned for a possible job here in Florida, the Baylor is on the verge of signing him to a new contract. So that's in terms of the coaches. That's the latest that's going on there.
David Randa was either going to stay at Baylor or go to LSU. I truly believe that.
No. Baylor's going to re-sign him to a new contract. They're already talking.
So to be good, one of the big jobs are now closed. There's other big jobs out there, big games out there. So we'll see. When we'll get into all of that. I think a lot. I think this weekend right here, with it being the final of the regular season, you'll hear a lot of different names or different takes. After Saturday. I think Saturday's win, whether it's a win or loss for Florida. I don't think it changes too much on who you get
Yeah.
or that aspect. So we'll just have to take it and see how it goes.
Right, and Lucas, let me report something that you followed up on Twitter earlier. That 2022 quarterback Nick Evers is rescheduling his visit, is taking a second official visit allowed by the NCAA. Can you expand on that by what they mean by second of official visit allowed by the NCAA?
Sure. Basically you'll have 5 official visits. Recruiters allow five official visits, and whenever a new coach comes in, you're allowed another. You're allowed another at an official at a school.
Now, is that a five of fit? So, if I'm a recruiter, so if I'm a player, and I want to go to the University of Florida, I'm going to have 5 official visits at that school, or is that 5 official visits? Period.
5 official visits total, but Florida can be one of them.
Okay, thank you. That's what I want clarification on. So I appreciate that.
Only if there's a new coach.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah.
opportunity
No, no,
to.
no. Right. I don't mean by new coach. I'm talking about 5 official visits. We talked about 5 official visits. Is that total? He can only visit 5 schools total, or is that
Yeah,
5 visits by one
yeah,
school?
five total. Five
Yeah,
total, and then you can only take 5 total, one per school, unless a new coach is hired.
Coach kids, then they have a second official visit. Okay, thank you for that. I didn't. I wasn't sure of that. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's
Sorry,
why I'm
Bobby.
here. That's why
Sorry,
I'm here.
Bobby.
it's all good. So we have a big game this weekend. At noon on ESPN.
Yeah.
Florida State. Obviously, we don't need no introduction to this big game. With not having
No.
them played in 2020. Let's hope that the Gators can give them the beatdown they deserve in 2021. I know Florida is trending down. Florida State's kind of trending. So but it is in a swamp. I believe the Gators are going to come out, and I would love to see them play a complete game from beginning to end, because there's not one game on the schedule this year that the Gators have played a complete game top to bottom.
No, they haven't.
And that's what I would like to see.
I think the fact that the game is in the swamp helps Florida, and that's why I have them. That's one of the reasons I have them winning.
What's
Daryl with a 2.5 point favorite.
yeah.
That's not much room for error.
Yeah. So if I'm
It,
not mistaken,
it was 10
when
to
you're
3.
when it first opened up, it was like I think it was 2.5. Now
No,
it
it
may
was
be more than that. It may be more than that now, but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, home field advantage, you get 3 points. So just there alone, you get three. So they're thinking it's going to be pretty close in Vegas. Now, if that may have changed, are you saying 10 now, Lucas? Can somebody look
no,
that up?
it was it started out. It started out. Florida was a 10-point favorite, and now it's 2.5.
Oh, so it went down to 2.5. So yeah, they're pretty much saying that it's going to be pretty close because I mean, you get 3 points just for it being a home game. So they're calling it pretty close one.
One other thing about the Dan Mullen situation I want to bring up, and it should be noted here because a lot of people might not know about this. When Scott Strickland met with Dan Mullen to tell him that he was now going to be the head coach, Scott Strickland offered Dan Mullen the opportunity to coach in this game on Saturday. Dan Mullen decided not to coach the game. He felt like that he was going to be the distraction that he didn't want it, and decided to back out and decide not to coach the game. So I believe Christian, who is it that's going to be the interim coach for this game? Greg Knox.
Probably been
Greg,
not.
Greg,
Very
Greg
not.
Knox is going to be the head coach of the team for the game. I saw it in an introductory press conference on Monday. I liked a lot what Greg Knox was talking about. Now, whether he comes on board, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, his first impression says a lot, and I think he made a good first impression on
I can
Monday.
tell you. I can. I can tell you. I can confirm that Greg Knox is not going to be here next year. One, he's a terrible recruiter. Two, and as I said, the most of the time, a new coach wants to bring in his own guys.
Well, you're right about that. You're right about that, Lucas. But I'm just saying that I think that a first impression can change the mind of coaches. Okay, and I think a part of being a bad recruiter is not on Greg Knox. Is part of the fact the position that he coaches. I mean, you look at our running back core. Well, who do we have? Damian Pierce, Naquan Wright. Name me a couple of other running backs, Bobby, real quick. I mean, all running back room is so filled that we do not have. There's not a lot of room to be recruiting running backs. So I don't think that's fair on Greg Knox. I mean, keep in mind he recruited Damian Pierce, so I think that's a pretty good thing that he's done. So I'm not going to hold that against. I'm not going to hold that against
He
Greg
is also
Knox.
the special teams coordinator, and our special teams has been horrible this year.
Oh,
Well,
well, yeah,
it all
that's
comes
true
hand
too.
in hand, but I mean, when it comes to his recruiting where it needs to be, I think he's done really well in the running back field. So I mean,
Oh,
we'll
definitely.
see what the next coach does, and how they handle what coaches they want to keep, what coaches they want to
Some of these guys may not want to stay.
yeah, some of them may not want to stay. Some of them
Mhm.
may want to go with Dan, or may want to go test the water somewhere else. So to all the
Right.
coaches, like I said, nobody is safe during this search. I mean,
No, no.
your job is up in flames. Just like Dan Mullins is. But a lot of these coaches, I'm not saying they're bad coaches. Like Daryl said, he's not a bad coach. He could go somewhere and be very successful. I mean, he could end up going to a team that maybe one day we'll end up seeing and playing.
Yeah, I
What
wouldn't doubt
is
it.
No, I wouldn't doubt. I wouldn't doubt it either. I mean, it really
I'll say,
depends on.
I'll tell you what. One thing, I think the guy just needs a break. Be in a TV studio. Be at Fox, ESPN, or recharge the batteries.
Yeah, I've actually heard that report too. I think Dan Mullen would be very good in front of the cameras. So I mean, that's just something that he should do.
I think Dan Mullen. My opinion. Here's a bold prediction, you guys. I'm just gonna say it. It's gonna be a bold prediction here. Dan Mullen will be the next offensive coordinator projected for Jaguars. I know it's a bold prediction, but I'm saying.
Well, I mean, we all know that Dan Mullen is not the best recruiter and doesn't enjoy recruiting. So, any aspect of you don't have to deal with recruiting, that would be a good job for him.
Yeah. But in the NFL nowadays, you do have to recruit with the way they're doing things now in the National Football League. So, in a lot of ways, he still would have to do some recruiting, but not as much as what they do in college football. So,
Yes,
but
exactly. So
But you're
now,
right. But you're right about Virginia Tech. He would be great for. I think Virginia Tech and that situation would fit him perfectly. No pressures, be able to establish his own narrative, his own legacy. You know.
I agree. I agree. Daryl, is there something you want to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, Jacksonville offensive coordinator is where I would put him. But then I heard the rumors about the Virginia Tech opening, and it would not surprise me if he ends up over there. It would not, because Dan Mullen. If you Google top 10 coaches, he's number 7 on the list. He's
Yep.
not a bad coach. So, and over there, you're not going to have as much expectation to be in the playoffs every year. So,
Right.
it's a little bit more low key over there. Not saying that they don't want to compete either, but just saying it's not as much pressure from everybody.
Yes,
Oh,
Animal. Thank you so much for for joining us on the podcast tonight. It's been great having you on.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it anytime. And I'm trying to, Bobby. I'm trying to get you to come on to my show. I got these other two boneheads over here. I got to get you on here as well. And be able to join the show every Thursday night. Animal Football Insider. No Insider tonight. In fact, I'm thinking about just switching it to Tuesday. So look for me on my Facebook page for an update on when it's going to be. But yeah, I like to get you to join me sometime.
We'll definitely be able to. I'll join you sometime. We're getting up at 2 in the morning. I got to go to bed relatively early.
What's 30 minutes? What's 30 minutes? Come on. Jeez.
30 minutes is a whole lot.
I go to bed 10. I go to bed 10 p.m. at night. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. Come on.
Yeah, I'm up at 2 in the morning. So yeah, it's a big difference there. But thank you so much for coming on the show, and you have a
Thanks,
good
guys.
night.
Appreciate it. You too. Happy Thanksgiving,
My
guys.
pleasure. I'll give you that autograph soon.
Yeah, it's in the mail. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, that was Animal joining us on the podcast tonight. But yeah, we're gonna wrap things up here. With us three. But it's been another great podcast, and thank you guys for tuning in and watching. It's glad. I'm proud to say that I was the first to interview Coach Daryl. Thank you so much for for being on the podcast tonight.
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna bring championships back to the University of Florida, guys.
We're gonna make Florida great again.
That's right.
But thank you all for tuning in. And before we get off here, if you ain't a Gator,
You must be Gator bait.
there we go. Y'all have a good night and go Gators.
Go Gators.